Hello, let's play Wordle for Tuesday, July 7th. Yesterday we spun the wheel. It said to start with steel. Very good start. All right, we get a green S and a yellow L. It makes me want to do SL, so why don't we? R and N are common letters. I think at this point P would be a good one, or C. A and E are gone, so really any vowel would be fine. O and I are slightly better than U. Slump. Slorn. Slurp. Ooh, I kind of like slurp, even though I said O and U are, or O and I are better. Slurp gets those high value letters. Let's do it. Ooh, okay, so it is SL. SLI, or I mean, it could be slick. That's not bad. Is there another SLI? Slink. So slink and slick kind of both get each other. So it's probably ideal to pick one of those two, but let's think about what else there is before we make a decision. Slimy is an option. That's completely separate. Is there another IY or OY even? But we're looking at I right now. I don't see another one. Slicey. So it's a very slicey knife. So no Y at the end. Is there another N here? Sling. So I think something like slink is really good because it gets slick, it gets slink obviously, and it gets slick, and it gets sling. Whereas slick wouldn't get sling. So I'm gonna go with slink. I think that's a very high value guess here. Oh, for a second I thought. So I think it means it's sling. All right, cool. Well, I think I made a very good decision there. I'm wondering if the bot agrees, of course. I always do. But yeah, I'm very happy with that solve. Sling and 4. Let's it kind of makes me wonder if something like slink would have been better second rather than slurp. But anyway, before we find out, we are going to spin the members wheel and see what tomorrow's starting word will be. It is Xylil, says by Kenny. This used to come up all the time because of a bug, but now it's legitimately coming up. We're going to be starting with Xylil again. Alrighty, well, good luck to everybody, including me. Let's look at the bot. So the answer was sling, and we started with steel. Yep, slink is the best, or slunk. I did slurp, which unfortunately isn't on the list at all. I guess R isn't very high value. Slurp might be the only one with R. Yeah, so I mean, when you're down to like very few answers left, 21 is very few compared to a bunch. You can't really use the common letter heuristic anymore because it's common among these 21, which is going to be very skewed. So yeah, that's why slurp isn't great. This is 2.571. Slurp is 2.5. Oh, slurp was also 2.571, so I'm not all that concerned. It's still basically top 10. But anyway, slink is definitely the best option here. There's slick, slimy, sling, slink, slosh, and slyly. I'm not sure I would have thought of slyly, but had I looked at O, I might have come up with slosh, but I'm not sure. That double S is also sneaky. But slink is the best option here, and from there it was only sling, which was a little bit lucky. It could have been down to a couple guesses to that 2.0 there. All right, well, it would have done slink right away, which would have gotten slink. So yeah, as I said, maybe I should have done slink second instead of slurp, but I hadn't analyzed it that well yet. Actually, I'm kind of curious after steel if there were any non-SLs. There was scold and shyly, silky, silly, skulk. And then down here, there's solid, sulky, sully, and surly. So yeah, there were plenty. All right. It would have started with tails, which is the same letters but different spot. So in this case, spill is actually the best. Check for double L. Interesting. And then from there, it's going to go slink and then sling. Interesting. So placement makes a big difference there, knowing it started with S. We don't have to do steel because we just did. We'll go right to adieu, the most common starting word. So we have the I in the middle. We're going to check flint here. Get the F. I always forget that it wants the F there. And now we're a little trappy. Bling, blink, cling, clink, plink, sling, and slink. So it's like, does it end in G or K? And does it start with B, C, P, or S? And so it's saying, you know, there's not really a good way to go here. It's a big gamble. I'm going to do the top of the list of bling. And then we're down to like cling, sling. So yeah, pretty trappy. You're probably going to get around a 4 or 5 on this one. All right, audio. We have the, we're going to go style. And then after style, we're going to go slink, sling again. All right. Yeah, the reason slink is better than sling is because it also checks the CK endings, as we talked about. All right, stare, very common starting word as well. We get that starting S. We're going to go spunk. Yeah, that NK ending, very powerful. It gets CK and NG. And now we're down to sling, swing, or shiny, it looks like. So just don't go shiny because that won't distinguish sling and swing. So it could be a 3 or a 4, 50-50. And then Perk tries to get in 2. It does not today. 1 and 355. We're going to go humid. We're going to skip this one because we want a answer. And then from humid, we're going to go slick or slink. And that's going to get a sling after that. All right. That slink sling is happening quite a lot. That was one of the options. All right. And then finally, tarps is what the official bot starts with. We have that yellow S. We're going to go shine. That's interesting. And then sling is the answer. Or we're going to go slink and then sling. So let's just do that because that's what we've been doing. All right. I'm going to grab my screenshot and then we'll check with the official bot. All right. What's happening here? Shoot, I messed up. There we go. It was sling, right? Yes. The slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. Let's see if we beat the bot. Give me a 92 skill. I feel like my skill is a little better than that, but I guess it's true. I should have done slink first, or should have done second. I mean, I should have followed up with slink. All right, so steel. It says solely is the best. Interesting. It doesn't actually prefer slink. That's because it doesn't look ahead enough. So it's saying, hey, solely would split us into all these buckets. Look at all these chances to get it right away after, and then there's these 2 buckets here. And so that's why it considers it better, but it's not looking ahead and seeing, well, these buckets are pretty trappy if we do that, which is going to require several more guesses after. It doesn't look ahead like that. It just looks at number of buckets and goes, ooh, that's good. All right, anyway, I give a 77 for slurp and then 99 for slink, because slink just creates these buckets, and then there's just this one chance of slyly slosh, which is a 50-50. So in that case, if you only have 1s and 50-50s, you're good on that guess. The heuristic is equal to the look ahead. All right. Tarp's shine sling is what it would do. So it gets a little lucky there. 0.2, start with sling. 5.5, 29.9, 69, 93, and then 99.3. Losing on swing. Interesting. All right. Maybe so these are less than 0.1. We've got fling and cling here as well. All right, let's refresh and check regular mode. Sling.png. All right, skill of 90, even lower. What did people follow? I think I didn't look at this in hard mode, whatever. People followed up with slick, sling. Yeah, just get the answer. Slink works really well. Everyone got it right after slink, of course. I did slurp. I'm not the only one who did slurp. Slimy, sloops, solid, sloppy. Wait, that's not sloppy. That's slopey. All right. Anyway, let's continue. Slate hunky sling. It does a filler. All right. 0.3 for sling. 3.8, 24.6, 63.4, 89.9, 98.3. That's actually way lower. Losing on swing, slink, fling, cling. All right. Well, how'd you do?